It's normal for a human body to respond to stress. And what the body does, it produces some hormones. And these hormones are sent to the brain, and you realize that you think very fast and do something. These hormones also move to the heart. Every time you have some sort of, there's a time, when the kids are still young and you're bringing them up. I had the marriages, challenges up and down. And sometimes I could even talk to myself. Yes. Sometimes I remember there is an instance, I woke up at 2 and realized I didn't have anything to feed to my kids. And I walked out and left the door open, and I said, after all, I'll leave all the doors open, and it is at 2. So that when they wake up, they'll find the people to come and rescue them. And then I walked at 2. And I went to a highway. I was living next to a highway. And then I went there and I hid somewhere in a bush, waiting for the fastest vehicle around 403.
Hello guys, welcome to our today's show, Mindful Horizon, whereby we'll be talking about stress and burnout management. And on stage, I'm joined by our humble guest, Madam Charity. Habari ya Madam Charity.
Salama.
Welcome. Introduce yourself, also that also the members can know.
Thank you. Hello, our viewers. I'm Charity Njeri Mwangi, and I'm born again. I love Jesus Christ as my personal savior. I'm a mother, I'm married, I'm a mother of 3. I have a firstborn son in Form 4, and I'm a teacher by profession. And besides being a teacher, I'm also a psychological counselor, trained. And that's me.
Thank you, Madam Charity. Now, since we are talking about stress and burnout management, what is stress?
Now, to begin with, Bill, it is also good to understand that stress is a normal feeling. And most of us don't understand that. And that is why whenever we are stressed, we don't want to share it with anybody because we feel it is not good. So it is also good to understand that stress is a normal feeling. And stress is a state of worry. And getting worried is normal, and also a mental tension. And all this is caused by a difficult situation. Maybe you're going through a difficult situation, maybe very demanding circumstances. And stress is also a body way, the way of the body, normal human body, to react to these demands and these challenges. And it is also good to know that stress can also be caused by events or thoughts. And most of the stress that we get revolves around the thought. And when I talk about thought, it is what we think. Sometimes we get stressed because when you look at me, unaona kama ninakuangalia vibaya.
That's true.
That is thought. And at the end of the day, you might end up getting stressed. Or maybe you do something you feel or you think people are not appreciating. That is also thought. So before we start tackling stress, it is also good to start with our thinking. The way we take stress, it is not abnormal, it is very normal. And stress can be positive and it can also be negative. And there are so many ways of solving these stresses.
Okay.
Yes.
That's nice. So you have said that stress can be either positive or negative. Yeah. So can you elaborate for us the difference between positive and negative stress? And also you can cite an example so that we can be able to know.
Okay. So when you talk of positive stress, these are stresses that helps us to respond to threats. And they are good because they they prevent us from dangerous situations. For example, maybe you're walking on the street and you're driving maybe at a very high speed, and all of a sudden you realize there is someone in front of the vehicle. What you do, you get stressed, and then you realize you are slamming on the emergency brakes. So that response to that stress, for one, that is stress, because your heart will beat very fast and every other body condition will react, but you have saved a life because you're going to step on the brakes. That is the positive stress. But also, when we don't take care of this positive stress, if it is prolonged, it is the one that results to negative stress. For example, if you keep on stepping on the brakes every other time, that becomes prolonged stress, and that can result to health damages like baby blood pressure, diabetes, and all that. And also, stress when prolonged, it might attack some of the body parts, and that is why when you get stressed, maybe you have a headache. When I get stressed, naumwa na tumbo. Mwingine akisikia stress, kizunguzungu, and all that. And that takes us to the different types of stresses. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And number one, the first type of stress ni acute stress.
Acute stress.
Acute stress. Na acute stress is what we call the positive stress. Yes, that is a stress that comes very fast na inaisha haraka. Okay. For example, when you go out and like you see a figure of a person who unashtuka, that comes very fast and it goes very fast. Yes, and that one, it is good. It is like a wake-up call. Unashtuka, unafanya kitu, and then it is solved. And that is it. So when we look at this one, it helps us manage dangerous situation. And this stress is what you feel. For example, you are starting an exciting activity. For example, today, it is our first show. This is season 1, episode 1.
Yes, true.
The way I'm feeling like Charity, it is not the same way I feel when I'm cooking tea in my kitchen, so calm. Yeah. There is that excitement, and that is sort of stress. And it is good because it is keeping me alert, knowing that I should stay like this, I should focus like this. So those are the acute stress. And all people have acute stress in one way or the other. Lazima kila mtu amewahi kuwa na acute stress. And the second one is what we are calling chronic stress. Now this is the negative stress. Uh-huh. And this is the stress that stays for a longer period. Unajipata you are stressed for 1 week, 2 weeks, a month. And this chronic stress, it is the one that results to it has a healthy effect on our bodies. For example, diabetes and all that. And then sometimes the chronic stress inakuanga na shida kwa sababu it is very hard to accept. For example, sometimes you get acute stress, unaanza kujiongelesha. I'm very sure Bill, umewahi patana na mtu akiongea. Not two.
I am a victim.
You are a victim.
Yeah, very, very.
Do you know that is some sort of stress? Okay. And it is very hard to accept that you are stressed. Kwa sababu ulijiongelesha mpaka sasa umezoea, unaonanga tu ni kawaida. Talking to yourself ni kawaida. Yeah. And then people will try telling you, uko na stress wewe. Na unakataa. Unaona mtu anakataa. Kabisa. Yeah. Na that is what leads to depression. And I think the next lesson, the next episode we will have, we will talk about depression. Okay. Because if chronic stress is not taken care of, this is what results to depression. Unajipata unafanya mambo, mtu anaenda, anajiongelesha, unajaribu kumwambia, anasema mimi sina stress, kwa sababu they are used to that one. Mtu anaanza kuumwa na kichwa, pole, inaenda, unamwambia hiyo ni stress. Hapana, nimezoea kuumwa na kichwa. So that is what we call chronic stress. And this one is the one that creates anxiety. Ina pile mpaka ina create anxiety in your life. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Those are the two major types of stresses. Now, acute and chronic.
Acute and chronic. Now, because you've said there is a relationship between the human body and the stress, can you help us to understand how do they correlate?
Yeah. So it is normal for a human body to respond to stress. And what the body does, it produces some hormones. And these hormones are sent to the brain and you realize that you think very fast and do something. These hormones also move to the heart. Every time you have some sort of stress, unasikia roho inapiga faster than the normal rate. And also some muscles. Wakati mwingine unasikia kuna kitu imekushika, ukishtuka kuna kitu unasikia kwa tumbo kama ni maji imemwagika. You know, all those are the body responses. And that is the normal way of the body to react to challenges and the difficult situations. Yes.
Okay. Now, because you have said there is chronic, and have you ever been a victim of any of the above stress, and how did you maybe cope up with?
At first we said stress is normal.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes. And I said, for one, I'm already stressed.
Yeah,
you know, although it is acute, you know, you get some stress, and it is also good. Before the acute stress, everybody gets acute stress, but it is also good to know how to cope up with it. For example, in my life, I want to give a short experience of a personal life. There's a time, you know, when the kids are still young and you're bringing them up. I had the marriages, challenges up and down. And you know, sometimes I could even talk to myself. Yes. Sometimes I remember there is an instance, I woke up at 2 and realized I didn't have anything to feed to my kids. And I walked out and left the door open, and I said, after all, I'll leave all the doors open, and it is at 2. So that when they wake up, they'll find the people to come and rescue them. And then I walked at 2. And I went to a highway. I was living next to a highway. And then I went there and I hid somewhere in a bush, waiting for the fastest vehicle around 403. And then all of a sudden, I don't know where dogs came from, and they chased me back home. You know, sometimes even God has ways of rescuing. Yes, true. But I sat and I went back to the house. I said, after all, there is still darkness. So I'll wait for 5 kuna mwangaza kidogo. I'll go back there. So I sat on a couch, and then I fell asleep, only to wake up at 8. Watoto wameamka, kuna jua. And then after that stressed me so much until I decided now I want to get someone and I can confide in. And I went to my mom. My mom is a very good friend. So I went to my mom and we talked. And by the time I was leaving, the problem was half solved. Because some of the challenges I had feeding the kids. Unajua kuna vile mzazi anapakia mtu chakula. Nikaona after all ningekufa na kube kuna mtu ana chakula. So through talking, I was able to overcome that. Yeah, and I don't know what would have happened if I just sat and decided I'm going through this alone, nobody else. You know, these stresses. Any stress you will ever go through, you will not be the first one, and you will not be the last one. Other people have gone through the same stress. They have found ways to maneuver it out. They're just waiting for someone to shout for help. And then they come in, tell you, I passed through this, I did this, I did this. Yes. And that is how I went through my stress.
Okay. Yes. You've heard it, guys. Talking makes things to be solved out. Now, because you have said that during that stress time, you face what you call anxiety. How do they relate between stress and anxiety?
Now, the difference between stress and anxiety is that definitely when there is stress, there is that stress causing factor. There's that specific thing that is causing the stress, and we call it the stressor. So stress is when the stressor is there during that period. That is stress. But sometimes we continue with the stress even when the stressor is not there. You realize that you have been able to overcome the stress, but there is still that fear that is still there. Unapata mtu, for example, you have gone through an accident, you had an accident, and then after the accident, you have healed, you are back to work, but there is this, anytime you feel some bang, you're like, yes, the stressor is already there, is not there. The accident is not there, you are now okay, but there is still that is what we call anxiety. It keeps disturbing you even after the stressor is not there.
Okay.
Yes, that is the difference.
Oh, like for me, if I can share and you tell me if it was anxiety, I've ever succumbed an accident.
Yes.
That is in previously, I think in 2014,
Absolutely.
whereby we there at communication center. I was driving, and there are these speed limits. So we went through, and the speed limit was reading at 140. So because I'm a young person, obviously, we love going very, very fast. So I was about 140 and above. So suddenly a matatu driver stopped once. So we collided about 5 vehicles. And after that, I stayed like 1 year. Literally, I could have not taken a vehicle hata nirudishe tu nyuma, because now that is
anxiety.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes. That stress that continues even when you are now through with the accident, and everything went well. You are already now up and active, but there is still that fear that still comes once a blue moon that keeps disturbing you. Yes, that is now the anxiety.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, because stress, in every stress, in everything we do, there must be signs. What are the common signs in so that you can say, that person has, stress, you can be able to judge, me personally have stress. How can you handle that? The common signs?
Now, some of the common signs, as I said before, it is very difficult to realize the signs yourself, because especially in chronic stress, you get used to the signs until they become part of you, that whenever we tell you are stressed, unaona this started months ago, so it cannot be the stress. So one sign is that some people diarrhea.
Okay.
Whenever you feel something, you diarrhea, and then some other people have constipation. You can develop forgetfulness. Unajipata umeambiwa kitu leo, you have a meeting tomorrow at 8, and then at 8 you're called, you don't even remember anything. Yes, which meeting and who told me? That extreme forgetfulness. There is that normal one, ukikumbusha unakumbuka, but there are people who you can remind and they are not even remembering, and you had an agreement, mpaka unamwambia enda kwa simu, ona nilikupigia jana saa 5. That extreme forgetfulness. And then we have frequent aches. Unaamka unasikia upande huu unauma, mara unasikia kichwa kinauma, mara una some funny pains and aches. And we also have headaches, and that is very common when people are stressed. Unapata mtu anaumwa na kichwa. Those frequent headaches mostly revolves around stress. Yes. And we also have lack of energy. Hauna mood. Unapata tu mtu amekaa, they don't want to eat, they don't want to talk, they don't want to twende out, staki. Tuja tucheze game, staki. They have no mood for anything. And they don't even if you push them around, unaona kabisa literally huyo mtu hana energy ya kufanya hivyo unataka mfanye. So sometimes lack of energy. And then you have sexual problems for married people. Hauna psyche anything, unataka tu kilala unalala, usisuburiwe, some such things. Yes. And we also have tiredness, the general body tiredness. Then we have sleeplessness. Unaamuka tu unapata mtu anazunguka tu ana watch, watching too much. Unapata mtu saa 5 ana watch, saa 8 ana watch, asubuhi ana watch. Sleeplessness, or maybe anakuwa na too much sleep. Tunakaa tunaongea na wewe kwa show, kumbe umelala, inabidi ninakuamsha. So that is also and then tendency to lose temper. Mtu anakasirika, and that is one sign of stress. Mlikuwa mmezoea kuongea na mtu, lakini siku hizi unaona mtu anakasirika ovyo ovyo. You crack a joke, unaona mtu amejam, hapana, anachukulia serious, personal. Yeah. Okay. Those are some of the signs.
And also, before ndio nifike hapo kukasirika, there are things which you call signs go hand on hand with causes.
Yeah.
What can cause us stress? And maybe if it causes, how can you cope and manage? Maybe you can start with the cause.
Yeah. there are two basic sources of stress. Yeah, we categorize them into two. We have what we call internal. And number two, we have external. When we come to internal, it is induced by our manner of solving problems. The way you solve a problem within yourself can cause stress. For example, there are those people who take things rightly. Kila kitu anachukulia tu. Huyo mtu hawezi pata stress. But kuna wale tu, you are in the midst of your statement, anachukua kajina kamoja. Maybe kuna kitu amesikia kama mjinga and you are discussing. Then from within, that starts boiling. Kuna kajina ameniita hapo na sijakaelewa vizuri. You know, from within, that one is internal. And it can cause stress. And also the self-control limits. There are people who have very high self-control. Kuna wengine, they cannot control themselves. You are in a meeting. You have not discussed what they want you to. Then that one, they start shouting. You know, that one is internal, lack of self-control. And then we have what we call external. And this is aggravated by circumstances such as the environment we live in, joblessness, maybe family quarrels, and also studies. Wakati mwingine unarudi shule, masomo imekuwa ngumu. That one can also cause stress. And we also have other stresses, causes of stress. For example, traumatic experiences. Kama kuna wakati tuna watch TV, tunaona kuna some places kumepata earthquakes. Yes, those are natural calamities. Okay. We have earthquakes, we have accidents. And sometimes you find that survivors of those traumatic experiences, before they heal, wanaenda through a process. And that is why in counseling, tunasema, for such issues, ni vizuri kuwa na debriefing. There is something we call debriefing. Na debriefing ni to make you realize that whatever has happened. And it is real. Najua kuna watu wanaishi kwa dream tu. Kulikuwa na earthquake, your property imeperish, kulikuwa na moto. So they will live kwa hiyo dream ati one day I will wake up and realize my house is still there. Okay. Yes, so that is why we give them debriefing kwa sababu they heal in stages. Stage ya kwanza unapata mtu amekaa tu haamini. Ya pili hata akiamini hataki kusikia hiyo mambo, hataki kuongea kabisa. But with the time unaona sasa wameanza to come into terms with what is happening. And then the fourth one, unapata sasa mtu ameanza kuamka. Kusema I had a house, sasa nitaishi hapa. Wacha nijenge tu ya matope, nipate tu a roof over my head. Yes, those are the stages. And we also have a stressful, another cause of stress, ni a stressful event. For example, so much noise.
That's true.
Unaenda mahali kuna music, maybe you are not upendi music, lakini those boom boom boom, by the end of the day unasikia you are very stressed, utaki kuongea. Yes, and also emotional immaturity. Okay. And you can be chatting with a person and maybe they are not mature emotionally. So anytime you discuss an issue, wanaruka. Okay. Yes, those are some of the causes of stress.
Now, the causes, we can also say maybe like on under causes, maybe ukiwa umekasirikiana na mtu, can it lead also to stress kuchipuka?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you know the causes are so many because we are created differently. Yes. You know what I would not take as an issue, maybe it is a very big deal to you. So what can cause stress to me may not cause stress to you. Okay. Yes, because even the way we relate with each other, it can cause stress to me. Yeah. But maybe to you, you're just used to go greeting people. Lakini kwangu, mimi inanipa stress. Paka nasimama nakuuliza sasa utasalimia watu wangapi at the end of the day. You know that is causing stress to me. Lakini to you is just being kind to people, saying hi. Lakini kwangu. So there are so many causes. Stresses have so many causes. Yes.
So now the stress is here with us and I'm facing the stress. How can I cope? And under coping, also you can tell us to manage.
Yeah. Now, before we come to managing stress, it is also good to know that stress can be from good challenges and also from bad challenges. For example, maybe you have a marriage, you are married, you still get stress. For example, we had one of us who was wedding the other day. Yeah. I'm very sure before that wedding day, that was a gift, it was a happy occasion, but I'm very sure in a way they were stressed. That is a good challenge. But on the other side, when you are getting a divorce, that's a bad challenge. And you also get stress. When you are ready to receive a baby, you are expecting, your family is expecting a baby. You keep getting worried. Now, will it be a boy? Will it be a girl? How will I start coping being a father, being a mother? How will I feed the child? How will the baby be a boy or a girl? Those are good challenges, but they also give stress. Now, there's a way we cope with the stress. And that is the most important thing. Because stress are there, and we have agreed at the beginning that they are very normal. But the reason why they become chronic or acute depends on the way we cope with them. Okay. For example, there are those simple techniques that we do, and there are two. One, we have the deep breathing relaxation technique.
Breathe
in and then out. Breathe in again. So you breathe in, you relax, and then you breathe out. Yes, if you do that, and especially when the baby is crying so loudly, tell them breathe in. By the time they breathe out, they have forgotten the challenges, and it also helps the body to relax. For example, your heart is beating very fast, and we said that is the normal body reaction. When the heart beats very fast, sometimes it is good to breathe in. Unasikia the heartbeat inaenda chini. With the time, you are able to relax. And also, we have the mental relaxation press technique. And mostly in modern houses, unapata kwamba boma iko hapa, then there is a separate room somewhere far from the mansion.
Yeah, it's true.
When you are stressed, kuna maybe newspapers, kuna some magazines, kuna pictures, kuna some breads, drinks. So when you just go, when you are stressed, unatoka from the stressor. What is stressing you? Maybe you have a quarrel in the house. Unaenda tu hapa, una relax, you take some drinks, you watch some movies, and then by the time you get back to the house, you're relaxed. Yes, that is what we call the mental relaxation place technique. But besides that one, people also develop skills. It is not all of us will be able to make the relaxation place, but breathing in and out is there for all of us. And so there are some other skills that will help us cope with the stress. For example, eating sensibly. Yes. Sometimes we eat until our stomachs are very full, and at the end of the day, we are again stressed. That is one management. You're supposed to eat what you can be able to hold. Okay. Yes. And then getting adequate sleep. Ni vizuri kulala, unalala unatosheka. Not oversleeping, and again, usilale kidogo sana. And then it is good to do physical exercises. For example, Bill, do you do any physical exercise?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I do take my bicycle. I'm a fan of dog, so I do take them dog walk. Through that, maybe I get some fresh air.
Yes.
Also playing basketball. I have different things that I play.
Physical activities. Yeah. Yes, that is also a natural way of coping with stress and managing it, and it makes you feel better. It also it raises your moods. By the time you walk up and down, meet friends, talk, run with the dogs, see them barking at people, that will raise your moods. And sometimes you even feel proud that my dog is barking and they are good. You'll meet with a person who will tell you this dog is nice. That one lifts your mood. And also, it is good to laugh. Kicheko. Tunasema kicheko ni dawa. Yes, when you're able to laugh, do it. Ni wachache wanaweza kucheka. Yes, sometimes huwa na watch cartoon na watoto. Unapata wamecheka. And then naangalia naona hakuna kitu cha kucheka, but eventually najipata hata mimi nimeanza kucheka. That is a medicine. Okay. And then it really helps to relieve tension. Mkiwa mnaongea on a serious talk, alafu kuna fun Munacheka, it relieves the tension. It is also good to be humorous. Yes, usikuwe serious sana. Na sasa kwa hii show ni stone face throughout, hakuna. Yes, it is also good to lift the mood, and sometimes it also makes relationship. Wakati mwingine muna watch akina Churchill show pale, na mko kwa boma, mwingine ako kwa kona ile, mwingine kwa ile, you're not talking. But when there is a joke there, unajipata wewe unacheka umeangalia huko na yeye anacheka wakiangalia huko. The next joke mtaangaliana mtacheka. You know, that is a problem solved. Yes, and it is also good to make fun because it also lifts the spirits. Yes.
Now, because we have talked all about stress and all about how to cope them up, and also the way to it affects our current life, society. We can also open the page to the burnouts. What do you mean when you talk about burnout? What's a burnout?
Now, when you talk of burnout, I just want to start. Burnout mostly comes in relationship with work. And when we talk of work, I want to talk about stages in work-related stresses. And it is good to point out that there are 5 stages of work-related stress. There are 5 stages, and the first stage, of course, is the honeymoon stage.
That's true.
Whenever you get to work, you are very excited, going to the wardrobes, trying to pick that this is my first day at work, I'll put on this one, I'll be walking like this, I'll be sitting and even eating. Unapata una practice kwa nyumba vile utakuwa unakula na wafanyikazi wengine, or maybe in your new position. That is what we call the honeymoon stage. And it is characterized by excitement. There is also some motivation. Kwa sababu ulikuwa umekosa kazi for so long and now I have the job with me. Yes, it also, and there is also some pride. Kwa sababu maybe you did interview 10 of you. Ni wewe tu ulichaguliwa. So there is still that pride that ni mimi tu. Yes, I'm the best. There is also that one. And this one, you realize that in honeymoon stage, huwa unaweka energy yako yote. We say putting the best foot forward. Huwa unatumia energy yako yote trying to please the employer, the workmates, trying to perfect everything. And that is the first stage. Inaitwa honeymoon stage. Then kuna ingine, the second stage, inaitwa full throttle stage.
Full throttle stage.
Yes. And then in this one, now you start feeling the fatigue. Kwa sababu in honeymoon stage for maybe a month, umekuwa ukijitolea, unaamka mapema, unafanya beyond what you are expected to do. You want to be perfect. So you are putting in a lot of energy. So in this second stage, unaanza kuchoka. Unaanza kusikia, I wish tu kungekuwa na ka-off kadogo. At least hata ni relax. Kwa sababu there is that pace we set in honeymoon stage. Na sasa unaanza kuchoka, kushindwa ku maintain the level. Yes. So until sometimes you start regretting. Unaanza kusema sasa hii imeenda sana. Yes. And that is the full throttle stage, and sometimes it causes confusion. Paka unajipata uko confused. Do I continue with the work? Do I stop?
Do I resign?
Yes, do I resign? Okay. Sasa watu wataniona aje? You know, that is confusion. And then we have number 3, ndio tunaita chronic stage. Hiyo nayo, it has some shortages. Chronic is related with the chronic, persistent. Sasa hii nayo inakuwa na stresses zake, and these ones are psychological. Unajipata hata kwa kazi, those who are good friends, tena hutaki kuwaona, unataka kukaa peke yako, hutaki kazi ya kuandika, maybe unataka kazi practical, unaanza kuchagua kazi. At the beginning ulikuwa unafanya yote ikiletwa kwa desk unafanya, but now you start choosing. Na ukiambiwa hapana, you are supposed to do this, unakasirika. That is psychological. unasikia hawa watu hawanipeleki vizuri. That is when you start complaining salary ni kidogo. Lakini honeymoon stage na hiyo hauonagi salary ni kidogo. Unasema hata kama ni ngapi, mimi naingia hiyo job, naenda kuifanya. But in this stage ndio naanza kusikia hapana. Sasa nitadanganya aje nipewe ka off kidogo. Unaona? And it continues and you feel that you are overworked. Unasikia utaki kuamka and then we come to the fourth one. Inaitwa crisis stage. You feel you cannot handle it anymore. Umechoka. That is when you start becoming escapist. Watu wakiitwa nataka watatu, wewe unaangalia watatu wale wako nyuma, si ni wewe na wewe na wewe. You start escaping. Ukipata kana nafasi. Yes, na wale wako honeymoon na wao wanakimbia mbio. Yes, and then unaanza kufeel oppressed. That is when you start complaining. Kwa nini boss akiitana ni mimi tu anaona? You know, in the honeymoon stage ulikuwa unaona ni priority. Amenipenda, lakini sasa inabadilika. In crisis stage inakuwa ananichukia. Ananionea, ananipea kazi mingi, mimi nafanya hii, wale kwani watakuwa wanafanya nini? Yes. So, and then number 5, we come to hitting the wall. Now in this stage, you feel that you have worked for too long. Hata kama umefanya for 2 months, unaona hii kazi sifanyi tena, nimeifanya, I am now tired. And then the energy resources zimeisha. Hauna energy ya kufanya kazi tena. You feel unataka kuquit, and that is where the burnout comes in. On the wall, hitting the wall. Now, this is where we come to the question you asked about the burnout.
Burnout, yeah.
Yes. And the burnout is the state of depleting the energies that we have. Umefanya kazi, now you are in that situation kwamba the work is here, hauitaki tena na hauna energy ya kufanya. Utusikii kama unataka kufanya. And every time you do it, unasikia kwamba you are dissatisfied. Haujatosheka, ni kama kusukumwa. Asubuhi inafika unauliza tena asubuhi imefika. You know, you are happy about Fridays and na Monday umekasirika.
Inakuwa kawaida kwanza.
Yes. Yes, and sometimes it also lowers the morale na also the immunity. That is when you start developing some homa haziishi. Kitambo ukiwa na homa you still force yourself na unaenda kazi. But in this stage, when you are already, you have burnout, unasikia you cannot force yourself. Ukiumwa na kidole utaki kazi, you are sick. Na you cannot be able to work. Na hata ukienda, you will be maybe absent-minded the whole day. Yes, and they are the general symptoms za burnout. Yes.
Which are?
And these symptoms, ya kwanza, ni physical exhaustion. Unasikia umechoka tu, all through umechoka. When you are outside the work, hujachoka. Lakini ikifika ni Monday, you had the weekend, but on Monday morning, you're very tired. Na hutaki kufanya kazi. And then we have feeling overwhelmed. Unasikia you can't handle it anymore. Unasikia imekuchosha. Unasikia huwezi beba kitu. And then, kuna anger and resentment. Na umekasirika all through, umekasirika. Mfanyikazi akikuja mwenzako, twende lunch, umkasirikia, and you have no reasons. Mostly we get angry when we have burnout. Tunakasirikanga, but you cannot give a genuine reason for getting angry. Unajipata tu umekasirika tu. Umeambiwa ufanye hiki, you're just there. Umekasirika, feeling unmotivated. Hauna psyche ya kwenda kazi. Hauna kabisa. You feel you are forced, and then we have people whom we call chronic complainer. Ana complain even over nothing. Huyu mtu ukimwambia tuende tufanye hivi, ana complain. Chukua ile peleka pale, ana complain.
Okay.
These are chronic complainers. Okay. And that is one sign of burnout. Yes. And then you have the physical symptoms. Kuna zile zinaonekana physically. Mostly ni headache. You lose your weight. Unaona mtu anafanya kazi, anapata mshahara, anaendelea kukonda, hana furaha, ameparara. Yes, these are some of the physical. And then sleep disturbances. Unapata mtu halali vizuri. na akilala maybe analala kazini. Asubuhi mnaamka after morning prayers, mnaenda kila mtu kwa desk yake, anaenda analala. That is another sign of burnout.
Right. Kile wengine unajua unawapataka wamelala wanasema walishinda sherehe. Wanakataa kukuja.
Those are
some of burnouts.
Yes.
Now on burnouts, they have already come. And we are coping with them. Even I know in the current society, even these burnouts are in marriages, relationships, and maybe outside there, maybe there's someone who has reached a certain burnout. And when you have reached a certain burnout, he may want, how can he cope that burnout to be able not to continue also, and also to be able to have a good life. So on that, you can tell me the ways on how can we as the society, because you are talking even to the society outside there, on how we can cope out the burnout that has already hit in many families, relationship, you name them. So how can you cope about them?
Now, one way of coping with burnout is learning to say no.
Okay.
If you're not able to do something, you should not force yourself into it. Okay. Because for one, you'll not be able to achieve.
Very true.
If you are either forced into something or you're forcing yourself, it is also good to learn to say no, I cannot be able to do this, and yes, I can do this. The other one is working smart. Every time you have a goal, sometimes we lace so high goals that we are not able to achieve. And when you are in the process of trying and fighting to achieve these high goals, we get tired and we get burnout. So it is also good to make sure that you know the time that you have.
Okay.
And we say setting smart goals.
Yeah.
That is specific. Be specific. If today I am doing this show, let it be that. Don't mix. No. Be specific that at the end of the day, I'll be able to finish this show and maybe achieve
something.
Yes. And then they should be measurable. How do you measure the goals that you have? They should be measurable, they should be time bound and all that. And then the other one, it is also good to learn to share. Okay. It is good to know that we are not in this alone. Maybe you're not going through it alone. There is another person who is still going through some burnout. And when you share and talk, the burden becomes the half solved. Yes, so it is also good to learn how to open up, to share with our colleagues. And as we share, it is also good to be selective. Because there are those, yes. Because there are those people that I'm going to share with, and then the next day in the staff room or in the office, unaingia wanacheka, wanaangaliana because the information are circulated. Hata ukimuona anafanya ABCD. So it is also good to be selective as we share. And it is also good to learn modern technologies. Yes, nowadays they have they are making work easier. Yes, when it comes to doing some jobs. Wacha tujaribu kuwa modern. Yes, we also have you can also do relaxation activities. Okay. These are swimming. I'm not a fan of swimming. Napenda tu maji ya karai.
Kwa nini?
Yenye inanitosha.
I thought you love swimming.
Mimi napenda tu ile ya karai tu yenye siwezi sing. Yes, but also some of these you have a hobbies.
Yes, true.
Maybe mwingine anapenda swimming, I love something else.
Speaking of that, what is your hobby?
Yeah, my hobby, I like traveling. Right. Visiting new places, hivyo nikisikia kuna ka out ama katua watu wanaenda mahali, I always count myself in even before I am counted in.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and it is also good to maintain the diet, to be able to hold the and to retrieve the lost energies.
Okay.
It is good to maintain our diet.
Oh, right.
Yes, and then leave your work at your workplace.
Wacha kazi yako.
Wacha kubebana na files kwa nyumba.
Okay.
Mtoto analia, you are busy for file. Na kwa laptop unataka kupigia boss, unataka leave your work at your workplace. Yes, na pia kwa workplace, wacha mambo ya nyumbani. If you had a quarrel, don't push it to others in the workplace. Yes, they are going to mistake you. Yes, and then it is also good to keep a things to do list. Kukuwa na list ya mambo yenye, today I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Yes, and at the end of the day, you evaluate your list. I've done this, I've achieved this, I have not achieved this. Yes.
A diary.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
So you've heard it, guys. Many other things that stress, maybe we have not yet exhausted all of them, but we have exhausted a few that are major in the society, and also we've exhausted about even burnouts. So if you are there, you can check on those, how to handle them. If you're there, you can also have your activities, be creative. In the current society, you're creative, and so many things. We would love to exhaust them, all of them, but some of them, it's for you to find out where is your weakness, where is your stress, where is your burnout taking you through, and what have you done to achieve to not be in the stress, even not to have the burnout. So it's up to you and me to be able to succumb the stress and the burnout management. So as we are coming to the end of our show, live Madam Charity, maybe you can face the camera and tell one or two parting shots, and maybe even guide the current society, mostly even the youths, even the young marriages outside there, because they're facing the challenges that you're going through, and you can maybe one or two words to keep them in their hope burning. Welcome.
Yeah, our viewers, as we conclude the show, it is good to have patience. Patience is the key, because in the nowadays, you want to desire something and get it instantly. You don't want to walk the journey. You don't want to discuss with people. You find a good car, you want to get it instantly. It is also good to find out, whoever is driving this car, whoever is owning this big house, how did you come to this? What was the journey? And with that, you'll get encouraged. And we agreed that stress is normal. Don't keep quiet, because if you keep that stress to yourself, it will add up to depression. And when it comes to depression, it is very hard to reverse the issues. And it is also good to know that let God be God. Yes, as I conclude, it is also good to trust in God. Let Him do what He alone can do. There are things, sometimes we struggle with things that we cannot be able to do, and there is one who can be able to do them for us. If there is no way, He says that He is able to create a way. And in this race, it is good to know that you're not competing with anybody. You can never compete with anybody. The Bible tells us that we are uniquely created, na ni sisi tu. Yule mtu tunafanana na yeye sio our parents, it is God. So if there is anyone you should compete with, ni wewe. You should compete with the person you were yesterday. Try to make that person of yesterday better today. And try to make the person best tomorrow. So you should not compete with anybody, just compete with yourself. And with that, we will be able to eliminate some of these stresses that comes with thinking that we are left behind by that. I'm left behind by my friend. Let us compete within ourselves. So thank you. God bless you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. So you have heard it all. Much has been said. Much has been talked. Much has been answered. Much has been tackled. And much will be tackled more. So, well, for me, I don't have much to say, but to urge you as we go on, the show will be going on. Make sure you like, subscribe under there. So on our hit the like button and subscribe, and also be a person to share, to enlighten, and also comment in any topic that you want us to talk about on this mindful horizon. So until we meet again, bye-bye. I've been your host, Bill Cedric Karanja. Be safe, talk, and all shall be solved. Goodbye.